Welcome back to Dinar Flash News. Today, we are undertaking a thorough examination of a report with the capacity to fundamentally alter the viewpoint of every individual currently in possession of Iraqi currency. This entire broadcast is committed to delivering the clearest, most complete, and fact-based explanation you can find concerning the Iraqi 50,000 dinar notes. A whirlwind of discussion has emerged regarding new financial movements inside Iraq, the genuine status of exchange rate modifications, and the essential elements investors must comprehend before being influenced by unconfirmed speculation. We urge you to remain with us for the entirety of this analysis, as we will methodically deconstruct the most critical reality checks, examine the latest official measures from the Central Bank of Iraq, and describe the truly plausible situations for dinar holders. You will find no sensationalism here, no perplexing economic terminology, only direct and transparent clarity intended to dispel confusion for good. To commence this detailed breakdown, we must first confront the nature of the present discourse. A considerable number of individuals are currently experiencing confusion due to the contradictory information spreading across the internet, and this presentation is designed to eliminate that doubt permanently. If you are currently in possession of the 50,000 dinar notes, or any other Iraqi dinar denomination, the details we are about to cover are critically important for your comprehension of this asset. We will unfold the complete narrative sequentially, guaranteeing that you are armed with the understanding needed to immediately recognize deceptive assertions and to perceive the opportunity from a realistic, evidence-based perspective. Inside the dinar community, one of the most charged recent topics has focused on the idea that the 50,000 dinar notes have been formally sanctioned for a completely new exchange value. This is a storyline that has gathered momentum, yet it demands prompt and meticulous examination to grasp what is truly occurring on the ground in Baghdad. On various social media channels and online forums, numerous people are sharing sensational headlines implying that a huge, life-altering development concerning these particular notes has just taken place. However, before anyone responds emotionally to these reports, the very first action we must undertake is to precisely segregate unverified rumor from confirmed governmental policy. The 50,000 dinar note is unquestionably a legitimate and circulating denomination within Iraq's present monetary framework. It was initially issued by the central bank not as an instrument for international speculation, but as a functional mechanism to assist in handling substantial cash-based dealings within Iraq's developing economy. Presently, many holders maintain the hope that this specific note could one day become extraordinarily valuable if Iraq's currency gains strength. While the optimism is comprehensible, it is vital to highlight that no official proclamation has verified an abrupt, major revaluation or a dramatic exchange rate shift specifically aimed at this note. The most precise and conscientious method to comprehend the future worth of the 50,000 dinar note is not by searching for hidden clues, but by scrutinizing Iraq's concrete economic objectives. We must examine the financial reforms being enacted in parliament, the prospects for worldwide oil income, and the anti-corruption frameworks being assembled, step by laborious step. Lately, Iraq has indeed undertaken several significant strides toward financial modernization that demand attention. The central bank has vigorously promoted the adoption of digital banking systems, broadened its international financial linkages with accredited global banks, and enacted stringent policies to control inflation. These developments are profoundly important because they indicate the real movement toward a currency that is more robust and reliable on the international scene. These represent the mundane yet crucial foundational elements of value that serious investors seek. It is also critical to acknowledge that Iraq has been collaborating closely with global financial institutions to enhance transparency and security measures. When a sovereign nation exhibits economic reliability and conformity to international compliance norms, its currency naturally stands a better chance of acquiring strength and esteem in the global marketplace. Nonetheless, viewers must comprehend that this metamorphosis is not an instantaneous event. It is a progression that happens through slow, confirmed enhancements that frequently escape the notice of those seeking an immediate solution. In the coming year of 2025, Iraq seems to be striving more intensely than ever to update its financial architecture. Therefore, while conjecture may generate surges of enthusiasm, the actual news is that Iraq is methodically constructing the groundwork necessary for a potential increase in currency value over a prolonged duration. A query that often emerges among dinar holders is whether the 50,000 dinar note might one day be valued as thousands of dollars in a sudden occurrence. This is a compelling question that strikes at the core of why many individuals hold the currency, and it merits a realistic, sophisticated response. The principal function of large denomination notes like the 50,000 dinar is typically to supply monetary stability and liquidity, not to act as lottery tickets for instant fortune events. Iraq released these larger notes because they were dealing with the consequences of decades of inflation and required a way to streamline everyday transactions in a culture heavily dependent on physical cash. For a substantial revaluation to happen that would dramatically transform the purchasing power of these notes, the economic circumstances within the country would need to alter radically. For such a revaluation to be economically feasible, Iraq would have to successfully slash inflation rates significantly and maintain them at a low level. They would need to markedly boost economic production across all industries, expand private sector enterprise far beyond the oil sector, and uphold a disciplined, prudent monetary policy for many years. These are long-range macroeconomic objectives that Iraq is presently pursuing, but they are not levers that can be pulled in a single banking meeting. Consequently, the answer is affirmative. A theoretical pathway exists where the dinar could gain strength, but it must be underpinned by confirmed economic expansion. It cannot be maintained by rumors of clandestine approvals or secret agreements. Value originates from productivity and stability, not from optimistic speculation or unverified intelligence. We must also have a candid discussion about why rumors continue to propagate with such intensity in this community. When people are emotionally committed and financially hopeful, influential voices online sometimes yield to the lure to overstate or misread intricate financial data. Pronouncements like massive revaluation confirmed or 50,000 notes activated for wealth exchange spread with incredible speed because they sound thrilling and affirm the aspirations of the audience. However, upon closer inspection, those statements almost never align with the official communications released by the Central Bank of Iraq. What is factually accurate is that Iraq desires a more powerful currency in the future, but their declared objective is to accomplish that through progressive appreciation and structural change. The strategies that the Iraqi government is openly debating involve redenomination plans and robust economic reforms to enhance the non-oil sector. It is very wise for dinar holders to be hopeful and optimistic regarding the nation's future, but it is just as crucial to remain anchored in actual policy. Heeding rumors that provoke extreme emotional fluctuations can result in hazardous financial choices and needless anxiety. Let us redirect our attention toward what we can genuinely confirm today via official channels. Iraq's central bank has been working relentlessly to reinforce the dinar's international recognition, combat black market currency exchanges, and substantially enhance compliance with global anti-money laundering regulations. These are the real news items that count. These specific actions concerning compliance and black market oversight demonstrate a degree of responsibility and economic maturity that was absent in prior years. This is immensely significant because international markets and foreign exchanges only assign value to currencies that exhibit long-term security, transparency, and potential for growth. Furthermore, boosting oil exports, forging new trade alliances with adjacent nations, and reinforcing the tourism and technology industries are also pivotal elements that could enhance future value. These are the engines of the economy. Without the growth of these sectors, the currency lacks a foundation upon which to stand. Observe these sectors closely, as they are the genuine barometers of the dinar's health. Another crucial point of misunderstanding involves the idea of redenomination. Some credible analysts think that Iraq might one day opt to remove 3 zeros from its currency, a procedure technically known as redenomination. This tactic has been employed by numerous countries throughout history, from Turkey to Brazil, to fight inflation and streamline the currency system for accounting purposes. If Iraq selects that route, It is essential to understand that the aim is the normalization of the economy, not the generation of instant profit for holders. This is why it is supremely important for people to grasp the fundamental distinction between redenomination and revaluation, as they are frequently confused in online conversations. To elucidate this difference, a redenomination modifies the currency's design and the nominal mathematics of the exchange rate. It alters the face value while maintaining relative purchasing power. A revaluation, conversely, actively increases the purchasing power of the currency unit relative to foreign currencies. Iraq could, in theory, pursue both strategies over many years, but neither would probably be carried out as an overnight fortune event that surprises the world. These processes demand international coordination, extensive logistical preparation, and public awareness campaigns. Comprehending this assists in managing expectations and enables holders to interpret news reports through a lens of economic reality instead of emotional yearning. Let us now tackle the concept of investor safety, which is paramount. Many people holding dinar acquired it because someone, somewhere, assured them of life-altering returns in a brief period. Regrettably, the reality is that certain parties and firms have marketed this investment using highly improbable assertions and aggressive sales strategies. Genuine financial experts strongly advise that you approach dinar holdings like any other speculative venture, high risk, with uncertain timing, and absolutely no assurance of profit. The most intelligent action you can take is to remain informed with neutral news sources, avoid panic-driven selling or buying, and shield yourself from unrealistic pledges. You are entitled to the truth, not hype that results in letdown. Now, let's turn to the genuinely encouraging part of this story. Despite the need for prudence, Iraq's economy does possess substantial real potential. The nation controls some of the planet's largest proven oil reserves, which equates to major long-term revenue possibilities if administered properly. They are also vigorously enhancing their banking sector, solidifying trade relationships with neighboring countries like Jordan, Saudi Arabia, and Turkey, and modernizing their physical infrastructure. If these positive trajectories persist, the dinar could steadily acquire authentic value in international markets. The key term here, which we must stress repeatedly, is gradually. Sustainable economic growth is seldom explosive, it is consistent and cumulative. Growth that is achieved through genuine advancement is far more durable than rumors of sudden, massive value surges. A currency that spikes without underlying economic support will almost inevitably crash just as rapidly, causing hyperinflation and economic disaster. Let's discuss the physical 50,000 dinar notes specifically once more. These notes will stay in circulation for the foreseeable future because they facilitate Iraq's large transaction economy. Some individuals worry that large notes will become valueless if smaller denominations see wider use or if a redenomination takes place. However, considering historical precedent, when nations fortify their currency, high denominations are typically swapped or exchanged in a highly organized, slow procedure. Iraq would not simply invalidate holders of legal tender, as that would shatter confidence in their banking system and the very institution they are attempting to build. Any future reforms related to the currency notes would most likely include clear directives, public information campaigns, and sufficient time for exchange process through banks with full verification protocols. Therefore, if you currently own 50,000 dinar notes, the most intelligent and logical action at present is simply to store them securely and remain informed of official statements. One of the largest errors dinar holders commit is depending solely on rumor-based sources for information, which fosters a cycle of anxiety and false expectation. Verified news is powerful because it safeguards people from making expensive, emotion-driven choices. The truth is that Iraq is advancing, step by step, day by day. Instead of wishing for a magic solution that resolves all financial difficulties, we should be acknowledging the genuine improvements that are propelling the nation forward. A stable currency supported by sound economic fundamentals is far more valuable in the long term than a rapid shift that destabilizes the region. Authentic value increases with genuine strength, and Iraq is striving toward that strength each day through its policies, its trade pacts, and its banking reforms. Another significant development to monitor is Iraq's determined endeavor to decrease its dependency on the US dollar for domestic trade. The central bank has been actively encouraging more transactions to be conducted directly in dinar to safeguard national economic sovereignty. When more people utilize the dinar domestically for everything from food purchases to property, and when it is employed internationally for trade, demand rises over time according to the principles of supply and demand. This increased usage can positively impact the currency's value. These policy changes are intended to foster long-term confidence in the national currency among the Iraqi populace themselves. Global alliances also play a significant role in this equation. Iraq has been fortifying diplomatic and economic ties with major trade partners, including nations in the Middle East, Asia, and Europe. More international commerce leads to greater international acknowledgement of the Iraqi economy. When a currency becomes simpler to use across borders or is accepted for trade settlement, its reputation and stability frequently increase. That is the reason economic diplomats are working diligently, albeit quietly, behind the scenes to secure the dinar's future position in global finance. These are not sensational headlines, but they are the mechanisms that propel legitimate currency value. Let us address the question of timing, as it is the most frequent query we receive. Many individuals repeatedly ask when the dinar will increase in value. The honest, responsible answer is that no reliable expert, irrespective of their claims, can provide a specific date. Currency value fluctuations are founded on economic performance indicators and financial reform achievements, not on internet forecasts or calendar dates. What we can state with confidence is that Iraq is enhancing its systems, and those enhancements are necessary prerequisites for any future appreciation. Astute investors concentrate on the progress being achieved, not on forecasting exact dates. And currently, without a doubt, progress is occurring. Another enormous area of development is the growth of digital banking. More citizens in Iraq are now opening bank accounts, utilizing electronic payment cards, and lessening their reliance on physical cash. A modern digital framework assists the government in combating corruption, improves the documentation of wealth, and attracts international banking partners that require digital integration. This transformation underpins future credibility, and credibility is the currency of finance. When a nation becomes more trustworthy financially, its money becomes more trustworthy as well. This digital transition is a signal that Iraq is entering the modern economic world. Economic stability also relies heavily on physical security. Iraq has made notable strides in safeguarding its oil fields, reconstructing infrastructure devastated by conflict, and supporting civilian economic life. Stability is the absolute bedrock of any strong currency. Capital flees from chaos. Investors monitor these security developments closely because they indicate whether long-term prosperity is genuinely possible. Presently, indicators of stability within Iraq are more robust than they have been for years, offering a safer environment for economic policies to take hold and thrive. Let's discuss a concrete approach for holders. If you own dinar, particularly the 50,000 notes, the optimal strategy for 2025 is to stay informed and composed. Keep your notes in a safe place. Steer clear of risky resale arrangements or groups offering to cash you out prematurely for a fee. Follow official financial announcements from the central bank. Regard this investment as a long-term venture. Never risk more funds than you can afford to lose. This methodology keeps you secure, maintains a balanced perspective, and prepares you for any future changes that may genuinely materialize. One more positive aspect to contemplate is Iraq's demographics. The nation has considerable population growth and a very youthful labor force. An expanding population implies broadening economic activity, innovation, and future production growth. Greater productivity generally leads to a more powerful gross domestic product, GDP. A stronger GDP is the backbone of a more robust national currency. Iraq possesses the potential to evolve into a major economic power in the region if it continues this progress responsibly and leverages the potential of its youth. This is a fundamental economic indicator that is often ignored in favor of purely monetary debates. Here is a powerful truth to take with you. The value of your dinar is not decided by rumors, forums, or YouTube forecasts. It is determined by Iraq's actual performance as a nation. Iraq is finally concentrating on constructing a sound economy, step by step, confronting its deficiencies and utilizing its advantages. That is where money becomes truly valuable, in real-world financial strength and utility. The 50,000 dinar note remains a legitimate and functional component of the currency system today, and its future will depend completely on how successfully Iraq continues to develop, modernize, and secure its position in the global economy. Finally, let's address the psychology of holding this currency. Many investors feel disheartened when changes require more time than they anticipated or when predicted dates pass without incident. But genuine progress is measured in years, not days. A currency that strengthens too rapidly without economic backing will collapse. A currency that builds strength slowly through growth becomes resilient. Patience is not a weakness, it is a strategic benefit. Those who remain intelligent, informed, and patient are the ones best situated to gain if and when progress translates into value. While a massive overnight revaluation continues to be improbable, a strong and gradually appreciating dinar is absolutely a possibility rooted in fact. Iraq's path forward is based on reform, modernization, and global reintegration. These are the key indicators of a future that could reward those who had faith in its potential early on. Therefore, keep your notes secure, avoid panic, and stay updated with real facts. The most resilient investors are those who comprehend timing, patience, and reality. If this in-depth analysis assisted you in finally understanding what is real and what is conjecture, please consider subscribing to Dinar Flash News. We are dedicated to supplying verified, responsible, and clear news every week. You deserve the truth, and that is precisely what you will find here.